First is I am because.
Okay, now.
Okay, hi, this is Claudia. Welcome to our secondary school in Varazdin. We're pleased to have you here. So, I've asked you like a lot of questions by now. But, okay, I'll just start with a simple question. How did you get a scholarship for studying in France?
I didn't get a scholarship to study in France. I got on to study in England from France. But to go to France, I actually worked while studying. So not the first year, the second year, and the third year, I think. Yes.
Okay, how did you get the job?
I applied.
Yeah,
I worked as a receptionist in a hotel actually, and it was quite good because most students work as like in restaurants as waiter or waitresses. So I was pretty lucky, I think, to get a job as a receptionist, and that made me actually practice my languages as well in a bit because there were many foreigners there. And I enjoy it because it wasn't that difficult as being a waiter or waitress actually is. So you just chat with people, and that was quite fun.
Yes.
But so I just applied really. I just sent my CV out, and they chose me. And it was quite important for them to actually speak at least like 2 more languages. Okay. Other than your mother tongue, basically. So they wanted trilingual receptionists there, and it was quite good because I could actually work the weekends quite a lot, and then I wasn't working during the week at all, and I could actually study. But sometimes I had to do some night shifts, and that meant that after the night shift I was actually going straight to uni. So that was a bit difficult, but it only happened a few times.
Were you like really tired after the night shift?
It depends. At the beginning, yes, but then you get used to it, and there weren't that many anyways because the manager was quite good, and she understood that I had to study as well.
Stuff like that. The bosses are not really nice, and people sometimes don't even get their paychecks and all that.
Okay.
It's a hard time for Croatia. Okay, you said that you need to know at least 2 languages. You know French, you know English. Do you know German?
Well, I don't know German, but I know Spanish, and I used to know Dutch actually.
Oh my God, that's a lot of languages.
But my Dutch is extremely rusty now because I've lost so much of it because I haven't actually practiced it in like 5 years, I think now. So that's a long time, especially for a language like Dutch, which you don't actually see anywhere.
Yes, I agree.
Here, yeah.
Okay, was it hard to find an apartment there? There are like a lot of French people, a lot of foreign people. So was it hard?
Well, it's quite in France. Actually, it's quite common to rent your own place, so your 1-bedroom place. Most students do that. Whereas in England, you share a flat with other people.
Yes.
But in France, actually, you have some funding from the local authorities as such to pay to fund you basically towards the flat. So it's more social as such rather than the UK, for
it's
example.
much better than in Croatia, definitely.
So and as a European national, after having worked in France for 2 years and also studying, you actually get like 600 euros a month.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so basically they pay you to learn, to study.
Oh my God, that's
quite
awesome.
good. Yeah.
I wish I had
Whereas
like
in
a
the
chance
UK
like
you
that.
have to pay.
Yeah, okay. Are there like dorms for students?
There are dormitories, yes, but sometimes it's quite difficult to get in as a foreign student. There are many foreign students who are actually living in dormitories in university accommodation. They were coming with like an Erasmus scholarship, and they were only there for a month, for 1 semester or maybe 1 year the most, and they were getting those. I wasn't eligible for them. So I applied as well, but I couldn't get one, and then I ended up renting a studio. Really.
Wow, that actually sounds easy, but it was probably hard to do that.
It was quite easy to rent a place because there are many agencies or on Gumtree or places like that. So it wasn't even. There were so many. Like you have so many to choose from.
Okay, now I have a question for the social life. That's probably the thing that students are most interested in about. How is it there? Parties and all that?
Well, yeah, parties quite a lot, or at least meet at someone's place before going out, kind of to get drunk before, because otherwise it's too expensive to get drunk in pubs. But they don't get drunk as they would in the UK, for example. In the UK, it's all about drinking and binge drinking. In France, it's more kind of social. Yeah, it's more about like social. And when you have parties, you talk about the books you've read. And you have a glass of wine, and everybody brings something in to eat and to drink.
Yeah, it's more elegant, cozy.
Yes, I think
classic,
so.
Yes. Okay, what did you like the most from all the French and UK, everything? What did you like the most?
What do I like the most? Usually, I like people the most, I think, and I liked French people, I think, a lot more than.
Are they like in the movies, or are they like different?
Like in movies? Oh, what are they like in movies? I don't know.
They're all romantic, all wild, crazy.
Oh, I don't know.
Everything is about fashion and wine and cheese and all that. Perfumes also.
Not necessarily. I guess it depends. If you, as a student, sometimes you can't afford the proper perfume, so you wouldn't buy kind of perfume. Or yes, wine. Yes, I would say everybody drinks wine and everybody eats cheese at the end of the. Like they have like a 3-course meal, and the last one is cheese. But so they eat cheese, and sometimes for a picnic you only have cheese and wine. So sorry. Yeah. So you only have cheese and wine sometimes, and so yeah.
The school system, is it different than ours? Also in Romania, because you're like
yes, at university level. So basically you have 3 years the bachelor's degree, licence, and then 2 years the master's degree, which is basically maîtrise and then master. So 2 years. So 3 plus 2, and I think it's the same thing in Croatia. No?
Well,
Bologna system.
Yeah, it's 4 plus 1 or 3 plus 2.
Okay, yeah. So in France it's 3 plus 2.
Okay, now tell me about UK, since you're like all the time talking just about France and all that. How is it in UK? Is it raining all the time?
Depends, yes, it depends on where you live, but most of the time. In Manchester is the worst. Manchester is the rainiest place ever, I think. But saying the south, there is a big difference between the north and the south when it comes to, I don't know, people, when it comes to industry, when it comes to weather. So the north is very rainy, and it used to be very industrialized, and now there is no more industry left, and it's quite poor compared to the south, where there are most of the services and most of the banking industry. So the north is a bit more poor. Okay,
I've learned that the UK is now more ecological than it was. So is it like all green parties, all stuff like that?
Well,
reducing carbon emissions and
where I live now, I live in Leeds. Well, I live in London. I'm doing my fieldwork in London, but I live in Leeds, and I'm moving back to Leeds end of November, basically. But in Leeds, we aren't covered by any recycling scheme, for example, where I live.
Okay.
So we don't recycle anything at all in the area I live in, which is in the center of the city. So in the city center, we don't recycle, but it's the first time it actually happens. Up until like in London or other cities I've lived in the UK, we always recycled, for example, but now it's the first time we don't.
Did you move a lot? Because I've like heard that you've been like everywhere, but also not just UK, not just France. I mean all the other places, like I don't know, Australia.
I have a bit. Well, I passed through Australia because I went to New Zealand. But, yeah.
That was the last question. That was the last question.
Yeah. So I passed through Australia because I went to my boyfriend is from New Zealand. So we went to New Zealand, and I was a bit annoyed because I didn't need a visa for New Zealand, but I needed a visa for Australia. So I only spent there 2 hours, and I still need a visa, a transit visa.
Oh my God,
but I haven't traveled as much as I would like to, but I hope I'm getting there. But moving around, I lived. So in France, I lived in 2 cities. And part Paris as well, and in the UK I lived all in 4 cities, so probably every 2 years.
Okay, and we're about to finish. I just wanted to ask you about your research and your
PhD topic.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know about that, so I would like to ask you.
It's
Okay.
fine.
What's your topic and how do you like doing it?
I love it. I think it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I'm looking at basically migration and transnationalism, which is basically the links migrants have with the sending country and with the country and with the host country. And I'm looking at how this process of transnationalism basically is influenced by their daily experiences. And I'm looking at Romanians in London and Paris. So the best of both worlds, in a way.
So what are you finding out?
What I'm finding out so many things, like, for example, for low-skilled people coming to London, because I'm only doing my fieldwork in London now. Next year I'm going to Paris, back to Paris. But I found that, for example, for low-skilled people coming to London, it's seen as a failure, it's not seen as a progress or anything like that, because they don't necessarily come to London, they come to work. And they come to work because they weren't able to find a job in Romania. So they failed in some way in Romania. So that was a bit interesting. I wasn't
maybe it was
expecting
their
that.
choice, maybe they didn't fail exactly. Maybe they just wanted to go.
Yeah, no, this is how they see it. So what I get is their interpretation of the situation.
Because I
anyway,
also want to go out of Croatia. It's not because of the culture here or the work and all that, but it's just because I'm in love in France and I want to go there.
But I guess if you go there as a student and if you go there as a builder, you'll get different experiences, and you go for different reasons, and your desire basically builds up on other experiences and backgrounds.
Okay, I would like to thank you very much, Claudia, for coming here and for coming to Croatia and visiting us and for giving a lecture for our pupils today, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me over. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just don't do it now.